again, just to reemphasize, is that this deer antler velvet comes straight from nature, and in my opinion, as directly as God's design. It is a perfect design. It is the main growth factors that we see in the introduction of human growth hormone in the body that we convert into these various growth factors. And again, they're there to help restore the balance, to optimize your ability to repair, to be able to even potentially replace certain tissues, but certainly align things so that you can heal. And again, that you can use lots of different terms for that. The major one that we use here would be to reduce the inflammation and to modulate that immune system so that you can continue to get rid of the bad things, but not have an excessive level of inflammatory change that prevents healing and potentially could even cause a detrimental situation in the tissues chronically.
And the reality is, guess what? When you know that time in your 20s when you thought you were going to live forever and you can get away with doing anything, well, that was your IGF-1 that was saving your butt. So you can believe it or not believe it. You take away the IGF-1 and guess what? You're still trying to pull off the same type of thing. You couldn't do it. So whether you want to believe this or not, I have an amazing diet. Okay? It's a Live It. It's a whole plant-based diet. I basically only eat one meal a day, but you know, I drink a lot. I drink vegetable juices. I do calcium ion therapy. I drink my humic fulvic. I do Ormus minerals, but mainly it's a liquid diet because I just want to say this, everyone. Human beings in this environment that we live in now, they eat too much. You eat 3 times a day. You snack twice a day. You're on your way out. You're on your way out. Okay, that's it. We have been actually commercialized to actually feed corporations. That's all we're doing. We're not even feeding ourselves. We're overeating, and guess what? You can even eat great food, and you overeat, you're still in trouble. It's still going to rot and putrefy in you. Whether you believe it or not, almost everybody can cut their eating down, okay, by 2/3. And what they need to do is if you were to change your eating. I mean, nobody should be eating, okay, I got to eat because I get a headache. If I don't eat, I get a headache. If I don't eat, I get a headache. If I don't eat, I don't have any energy. If I don't eat, I'm in pain. I mean, all of this is showing that you have major dysfunctions. And understand something, whether you believe it or not, recovery on an emotional level and on a physical level we're talking about today. Because this will help you recover on an emotional level. Because what do you think this does for depression? What do you think this does for people with anxiety? They can just even process better. Dr. Fong?
I can't agree with you more, Dr. Wolf. I mean, again, obviously a proper diet is really important because we each have our individual nutritional needs. But again, the ability to process what you absorb into your body and to properly utilize that to put into where you really need it the most, that's a critical step that we sometimes are lacking. And one of the biggest things that's an impediment to that, again, I mentioned earlier, is chronic inflammatory change at specific areas. So in other words, you have an injury, you have an infection or some other illness state that creates an inflammatory change, or if we want to use the energetic model, it creates a energetic dysfunctional area, and it prevents on a physical level the nutrients from getting in there because your body's too worried about, oh, there's something wrong here. I got to create this inflammation, try to protect myself. So your own defensive mechanisms are preventing you from repairing that tissue because your immune system is interpreting it as a battleground. So the beautiful part about the IGF-1, and specifically in this compound, is that it has been shown that insulin-like growth factor 1 can modulate your immunity, or your immune system, I should say, to reduce inflammation, at least reduce the excessive inflammation that's potentially even causing your own tissues to have damage secondarily. Just as an example, understand that COVID was not killing you. It was the immune system's response to that particular virus afterwards that was releasing inappropriate amounts of things like interleukin 11 and that were basically damaging tissues and continuously damaging them because of that inappropriate stimulated immune system that doesn't let off. So again, IGF-1 can potentially help that by modulating that immune response, that immune signaling. It's going to help reduce that localized inflammatory change. And guess what? Prevent further damage. That's really important. We got to stop the further damage from occurring, but also then to allow the body's tendency, the natural reparative cycle to be able to set in there and to be able to bring the nutrients in there, to bring the building blocks to repair the tissues in it and to properly align them back and to allow you to repair, replace, or whatever you need to do in that local area.
It all still boils down to what I was saying at the beginning. It's all about energy. And believe it or not, the IGF-1 translates into electricity, okay? And light. So understand that. Everything is frequency, everything is light. So what is the light potential of that product? What is the frequency potential of that product? And people need to start looking at it like that way. Do not look at supplementation anymore. Look at things as a nutraceutical light energy frequency product. It's the same thing. You know, you can eat one tomato or a different tomato. You know what we're gonna do is, okay, you can believe this or not, but the machinery or the testing devices are too big right now. But there are times that you can buy an organic tomato or an inorganic tomato, and guess what? That doesn't mean that this one's always healthier. You can find more frequency and more light in the inorganic tomato depending on the environment that it was grown in and the seed itself. So if I can answer this person's question, somebody was saying, do you need to filter water when you structure? Everything is frequency. We have what's called a structure unit. And can I see it, honey? So the structure unit, what it does is, and you know, now you're going to think that Dr. Wolf is whacked, but we don't carry our filtration with us. We just have our structure unit. We will go all around the world and the tap water goes directly through here and here. You know, here's the big one that people don't realize, and this is good science, is that once you structure something, even though there could be a heavy metal or a chemical in it, or even a bacteria, it doesn't bother me. And we go all over the world with this, right from the tap. If the water's clear looking, we're drinking it. And the reality is you're going to go, well, he's a dumb bum, but that's okay. The reality is I'm going to tell you that you could filter your water. This is all about the IGF. I'll come back to it in a second. You can filter your water and do reverse osmosis, but now guess what? Your hydration level is really poor to the cells because there's no such thing as reverse osmosis waters in nature or distilled water, or you could use a carbon filter and you could filter it out. But if you didn't structure it, you still have the frequency from the people that drank it. You still have the frequency from the drugs and from the heavy metals and the bacteria and the chemicals that were in it. And the only time that you get rid of okay, my apologies. So the only time that you actually will structure water in nature is a waterfalls, fast-moving rivers, or rain. Rain is your best one. But that only happens every 17 times that it goes through the toilet on average. So when the rain, and let me just say something here, because I want to show you something how, did you know that frequency supersedes, the invisible supersedes the physical world? Meaning that frequency supersedes the physical problem. I can put in a frequency into the human body and turn off a disease that fast. It doesn't mean it's going to stay off because now we're dealing with somebody's personality and their lifestyle that they're refusing to change, or they're just playing Inky Dinky Schnitzel House and they're not going all the way. But when the rain comes down now, we all know little Billy, he's been trying to spray the skies. And before he started, we had acid rain and we had chemtrails. Now think about what's in that rain that comes down. Well, why aren't the birds, the bees, the flowers, the trees, and the microorganisms, why aren't they dying off? Why aren't they worse? Why aren't our crops, why are our crops the same as 500 years ago? Because I'm going to tell you something, because I'm right. structuring supersedes physical purification. Now, I'm not telling you not to purify if you own a structure unit. When we go to we have a home in Mexico, and we have one in the United States. We have a filtration unit there because I'm still going to filter it, okay? But I'm going to always structure it. If I had a choice, I'd just structure it. I wouldn't be filtering. You know what? Everything that the majority does, I already told you I don't want to do. I don't want to breathe like they breathe, eat like they breathe, think like they think, and understand something. I'm not against them. They're against their self because it's all programming. So you need to get that. Things are not getting better, okay? Things are actually going to get much worse, okay? You know what? Why don't you take a look outside? Go to the mall. I think that should do it for you. The reality is this. Things will get better, but they're not going to get better for another 7 years. And I'm telling you, between the economic thing that's going on, and also, remember something, when a tsunami hits us, it's the mess we got to clean up, okay? And the tsunami hasn't hit yet. But understand this, Dr. Fong may not want to talk about it, but the reality is he's been in health for a long time, and if he was gonna be honest with you, he would tell you that 25 years ago, you never seen anything like this. You know, there's no worry about running out of sick people. That's just not gonna stop. Okay, it's just going to be people who say they can't afford to get well. Because understand something, I've never seen so much sickness in all my life. And whether you want to believe this or not, if you really were in the focus in the present moment, you would understand something. You would understand that in the last 5 years, we have seen more damage come to human beings on a physical and emotional level than we have seen in 25. So no, we're not getting out of this right away. So unless you're going to be selfish enough to create a perfect day and invest into that beautiful body of yours, those 50 to 80 trillion cells, those 500 to 800 trillion bacteria, they need your love and respect. So everything is frequency. So you know what? Do you think I'd look this good if I was drinking water all the time? And I drink continually. And the reality is you can put a structure unit on your house, you can put one on your shower, and guess what? You're protected. You never have to even filter it. I'm telling you, right now people are taking showers, and I call those gas chambers in the house. It's the vapors that come from the hot shower that go into your lungs. How many people know that you take in 10 to 20 glasses of chlorine and fluoride as if you drank it with a 10-minute shower, hot shower? So the reality is that people really don't know what health is. They get offended when you tell them. They get offended when you tell them. And the reality is this, it's all about frequency. Make an image of what you think about yourself right now. How much do you love and you care for yourself? You know, and the thing is Dr. Fong, you know, people go, oh my gosh, that's expensive. If I were to follow that person around and see all the money wastage in all the garbage food and all the consuming of things they really don't need, okay, there's no more important vehicle than this vehicle, but we'll buy brand new ones, you know, brand new vehicles every couple of years. You know, we'll go and we'll change the filter, the oil 4 times a year, and that's the truth, usually for a car, but people won't invest into their bodies because everybody has this grand illusion that the professional is going to fix them.
So again, I couldn't agree with you more. You know, your health is a ongoing project with you. It's an ongoing process all the time. You have to take an active role in your health to maintain your health. I mean, we as physicians, we are here to help you take care of things as well. We can give you advice. We can give you whatever, like a medicine for an infection or medicine for when you have a pain or whatever. A lot of those sometimes are just Band-Aids, like we talked about in the earlier example today. But what really matters is your own body. There's a expression from in French. It's called milieu. It's your mix. It's your natural environment that you have to take care of, because if you can make that natural environment much more to the point where it's supposed to be. In other words, aligned to where it's optimal, you will resist the effects of all these negative things in the environment that are coming to you. So again, going back to the IGF-1, I would say that this the deer antler velvet extract, I should say, which includes the IGF-1, it's one of the most powerful ways to get everything in your body realigned, to help everything to repair. So when you fortify your house, you fortify your body, it's so much harder for something that is a negative impetus to create a problem for you. In other words, just the old expression is, hey, the healthier person, if they actually do get sick, they tend not to get sick as much. Whereas somebody who's not as healthy, they're the ones at risk. I mean, even we stratify that in medicine and say, who needs to be admitted when they have pneumonia versus who doesn't need to be admitted. Okay, these are all factors that play into, medical decision making, but they should be factors that play into our everyday life. Again, make yourself the best that you can be. Use the deer antler velvet extract. The IGF-1 in particular has so many myriad effects of being able not only to help repair things after the effect, but to help maintain and maximize your existing body, your existing tissues, so that they can again resist all the infections, the toxins, and this fallen world, as we say in my church. All the different things that try to impact us negatively, we need to take a stand against it. We need to make ourselves the best that we can be so that we don't have to do that. The oldest expression in the book in medicine, as far as I'm concerned, is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You can't make up for the premature failure of your bodies. That's a Confucius saying that was at one point a motto of our clinic. You have to take an active role, people. You owe it to yourself to see what these growth factors can do for you. And please take it from me. I use this. Dr. Wolf, of course, has very clearly told you he uses this. It allows both of us to be better than what we ever thought we could be. We don't have to settle for, hey, that's typical for your age. You know how much I hate that? Dr. Wolf has said he's almost 70. I'm 54 years old, and I'm running around with folks doing other things that are probably in their 20s or whatever else, and quite often they're asking me, how do I keep up with them, and things like that. I mean, working with the ambulance services and working out with other people. And the point is, it is this compound that allows me to be the best that I can be. And again, the IGF-1 in particular, and really all the growth factors, they don't take you somewhere unnatural. Dr. Wolf has said it's not a stimulant, but it goes way beyond that. It doesn't act like some crazy performance-enhancing drug that all the sports leagues ban. It's not like steroids. It's about maximizing what your tissues, what God gave you, to make you feel the best you can be. So in other words, it's completely safe. It's going to be a balanced effect in your body, and you won't even know how much benefit you can get from it until you honestly give it a shot. And again, I from the bottom of my heart, I truly wish you would consider doing that to give yourself the ability to feel the best that you can feel. And so again, I can't emphasize more that the more of this kind of stuff that you do, so I'll say it from a selfish standpoint. As a physician, you make my job a lot easier. When you come to see me, you don't have as many problems. I can guarantee you that, okay? And the whole point is that you really owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family, your loved ones, and really, you owe it to our Creator. My belief system, I'm a Christian. I know that God has a purpose for each and every one of us, and we need to make ourselves as good as we can be to help fulfill that purpose.
Thank you, Dr. Fong. I just want to say a couple of things. People ask, well, how much will I take? Well, for those of you, you can get the 25,000, which is a spray, and you can spray it. Those of you that are in really great shape and younger, okay, you can do it. Myself, I use the 300,000, which I can show you again. That's it. And the reality is how much do you take? Well, start off with the dosage and then see. You can't hurt yourself by taking it, but you don't need to take more and waste it, but take enough and understand this. People say, well, about healing, and I know that you must go through this too, Dr. Fong. How long will it take? Well, understand something. This is a very loose estimate. But if a person has a chronic illness for a year, you're looking at 6 weeks to 3 months. For every year, you can add on 6 weeks to 3 months. Depending on how much massive personal action you're going to take on learning how to love and care for yourself, whether it's diet, exercise, internal, external cleansing, that can shut the time down more. But if you've got belief systems that you are beating yourself up with, whether it be guilt or feeling like a failure, just understand that goes against it as well, because the emotional messes up the physical. If you've got a 20-foot hole, you're going to need a 20-foot ladder. And it's going to take you a little while to get out of there. But as you get out of there, you can back off on things, but just remember, the protocol that gets you well is the one that keeps you well. And people don't get it. These are not drugs. Okay, you can come off of that drug now. Well, understand something. These are not drugs. These are nutraceuticals. And guess what? Go out and try and find a good meal. I mean, Lori and I, we have to look at this as not something that's frustrating, but an adventure. We've been in Orlando now. Okay, how can it support menopause? Amazing, because you know what your energy levels are like. But I said that I would do this, so I will do a 1-a-day on Monday on menopause and premenstrual syndrome, painful periods. I'll wrap them all up into one, and I'll do a 1-a-day on Monday about that, okay? But I promise. So if you want to come on, you'll see it. And everybody, if you miss my shows, if you download Telegram, which is totally private, nobody can tell us what to do, you will see all my shows, all my memes, everything is up there at Doc of Detox on Telegram. So you won't miss anything. Now, let me get back to what I was talking about. So the reality is at the beginning, sometimes, you'll start gradual, but then you have to front end load. You got to front end load to create enough electrical energy in the body to switch off dis-ease and bring you back into alignment. Once you start getting into alignment, then you can start backing off on the front end loading, and you can then go to a maintenance. But you'll know, because you got to go by how you feel. It's always about how you feel. Everything on a bottle is just a really rough estimate, okay? Look, we have to put certain things on bottles so they don't come after us. The thems, the theys, okay? But the reality is nothing we have is toxic, okay? You got to understand that. We don't have the right to poison. Not that I'm looking for it, okay? Dr. Fong, what do you think in closing? What would you like to tell people?
Again, absolutely agree. Each person is an individual. We all were put together individually because I think God actually cherishes that individuality, that uniqueness that each of us have. And we all could use something slightly different. When you look at medical journals, when you see studies about things, do you realize that those studies almost always only apply to 80% of the population? So every time you read a study, this is a little fact that I keep in the back of my mind, that when I read a study and I see a conclusion of study, that means 1 out of 5 people, this doesn't apply to them. And it's really scary when you think about that. It just proves that we have little nuances, sometimes very tiny little nuances that make us individual from one another, especially when we're talking about what action a certain compound has in our body. But what's very interesting is when you look at these particular compounds, you look at these growth factors we get from the deer antler velvet, the IGF-1 in particular, universally, everybody will see a benefit. It may not, everybody's specific benefit may be very unique, but everyone will see a benefit of some level. And again, like I was saying earlier, you owe it to yourself, and please trust me on this, you owe it to yourself to give this a shot. See how much better you can feel, and see how much better that you can actually put yourself in a place where you can resist diseases, resist the toxins, resist all the things that are trying to drag you down. Because I mean, as Dr. Wolf said earlier, this world's a lot more challenging than it was 25 years ago. Again, I see patients with issues I never thought I would see. And again, it has a lot to do with not the disease process that brought them to me, but it also has a lot more to do with the way their body tries to respond to that disease, or really, in this case, the lack thereof, the ability to respond. And again, it's a little frightening to me that we've come to this state, but I'm very, very grateful, and again, I praise my God that we have things like this deer antler velvet, this IGF-1, that can help us to overcome these adversities.
Thank you, Dr. Fong. And I want you to have the best week of your life.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining me. And Dr. Fong will be back with us because we want to get the word out. This isn't for everyone. It's only for those people that would like to experience the energy that they had when they're in their 20s and early 30s and keep it. And that's why it's something you do daily. It's like people go, well, how long should I do it for? Well, your body doesn't make those human growth hormones that go into your liver to make your IGF-1 anymore. So you decide on how long you want to feel energetic. Thank you, Dr. Fong.
Thank you, Dr. Wolf.
Have the best day of your life, my friend.
You too, my friend. God bless you.
God bless you. So, everyone, that's IGF-1 in a nutshell. So for those of you who are interested, take a look at it. If you go to store.docofdetox.com, you'll be able to see where the IGF-1 is. Just know that we have our Black Friday sale is on today, and it will be ending next Friday. I'm pretty sure it's next Friday, or it's Monday. I'm not sure. But it should say there. And what else do I want to say about this? I'm going to be doing lots of videos from here into around January the 8th. And then I start a New World Practitioner course in Ixtapa, Mexico at the Cala del Mar. It's a 4-diamond resort. We'll be doing we'll be doing a whole life coach first on January the 8th. It's a 9-day certification that's recognized by the World Organization of Natural Medicine. If you'd like to learn how to emotionally consult people, nutritionally, physically, how to detox them properly, that's what that's all about. But listen, the course is mainly about me getting in there and helping you crack the coconut from the inside out so that you learn, how to totally love, honor, and respect you. Fill up your heart with love with you and stop punishing yourself with all these foolish, belief systems that have been programmed into us. So in that course, you'll see, we'll have medical doctors come, chiropractors, we'll have lay people come who have been accountants or who knows, carpenters, or people fresh out of school. They come to take the course. We have people that come there, about 40% of them that aren't there to actually get in the business, but after they do it, they realize something, that they are also a genius, that they can create a business for themselves, a natural health business, and make good money. And by truly helping people. And the next course we'll be doing, we take a day break, will be the Wolf Non-Surgical, which is the most powerful body work. You give me somebody that, any body worker out there, or anybody, even a medical person, I want you to give me your patients when you're done with them. And watch what we do with Wolf Non-Surgical, and watch what we do with our nutraceuticals, and the way that we actually work with people with clapping and ultimate coffee enema, belly button therapy, the exercises we teach, the new brain, systems that we actually teach them, how to unconditionally love themselves, care for themselves, stand in their power. That's really where it's at. Wouldn't you love to stand in your power, lovingly stand in your power, where you don't have to raise your voice, you don't have to fight for your rights, because guess what? You just know that they're God-given, and you are going to love your family, love the world anyway, but you're going to stand up for yourself and actually have an inner standing about how beautiful and how smart you really are. So it'll be the Whole Life Coach first, then the Wolf Non-Surgical, and then we've got a 4-day course called Braveheart Health and Healing Circle. If you'd like to stick your toe in for 4 days and go in there and find out that you can actually love and care for yourself, and you're smart enough to become your own practitioner and shine that light on your family. And then we have a 3-day course called the Pelvic Restoration for Women's course that is the holy grail for every woman. I don't care if you're 12 years old or 92 years old. Every woman needs this. And of course, I don't teach it. We have beautiful mastered female trainers that actually do that. So check us out at braveheartnation.com or BHN University. And if you can't make it to come to see us, jump into my library. I hope you know, go in and you're going to find out. It's the biggest, most powerful self-love, self-care, healing library in the world. And it was built for you, okay? It was built for you because we serve you, okay? And someday you might want to get a consultation. What if you could get up in the morning when you rise until you close your eyes and you knew how to emotionally and physically and nutritionally look after yourself? Wouldn't that be something, okay? God bless and have the best day of your life.